Hey, good morning, Dean. I think it's going to be interesting the next couple of months as we watch what's going on with the reporting of the Phoenix real estate market. You know, Dean, you know how these stories drive me nuts. The Phoenix real estate market, it's starting to soften a little bit. You know, the activity level is starting to slow down, and that's going to bring up their inventory levels. It may impact prices to some degree. I mean, they're definitely flattening out. We might even see some price decreases overall in some areas. But how the media reports it is what I'm interested in seeing. Back in July, there was this whole series of articles about how the sky was falling, it was the end of the world, the market's crashing, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was really, I thought, some crisis reporting. But if you look at the statistics from July here in the Phoenix area, that's not what we were seeing at all. It was, pretty much the same old, same old. Well, now we're actually seeing a little bit of a downward cycle, typical, normal, and I think it's kind of a welcome change because it's really tough for buyers when you have to do the drive-by slow and throw an offer really quick because there's already 10 offers on the house. I would love to see the market return to something that's a little more like normal. But what the media is going to do, I can only wait. I can only imagine how they're going to treat this. I mean, of course, we won't hear about it for a couple months, but when they do get around to reporting it, oh my gosh. I mean, if you look at the actual numbers, of what's going on here, it's kind of boring, There's not a whole lot going on. Things are flattening out. Things are kind of returning to normal. 2009 and 2010 are pretty darn boring. I mean, that is a pretty flat line if you ask me. Boring, boring, boring. News medias don't like to report that stuff. They gotta jazz it up a little. Here's a historical chart of the United States. Housing prices in the United States since 1970. And you can see it's pretty flat, and then there's sort of this wart-like feature in the 2000s where prices went way, way up and then came way, way down. Here's that same chart in Phoenix. You can see the same trend, but you can see instead of that little bump up and down that they have in the 2010, here in Phoenix, we don't see that. We're just seeing the prices coming back up. Here's Case-Shiller's version of that same trend, and don't you think it looks a little scarier? Holy cow. You can see that they predicted this downward plunge of prices. I don't know where they get this stuff. And remember, too, in Phoenix, just like all over the country, there's little pockets of this and that. So take a look at this chart. The blue line is Phoenix, where we have a lot more diversity in the types of houses that are being sold. Take a look at the Gilbert stats. Very flat, very boring. Nobody wants to know what's happening in Gilbert because it's just so boring. Prices went way, way up, and they're gradually coming down. Overall, it's really not that exciting. It really isn't. We just got to get the houses sold. Things are going back to normal, and normal is pretty darn boring. So I guess we have to give our thanks to the news media for trying to jazz things up, trying to make them more interesting. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing those news articles. In the meantime, we'll just go out and keep plugging away. Have a super day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, I need some more coffee. I'll be right back.